Okay guys, this is it's going to be a bit of a different video, but it's something that's going to be quite interesting for you to talk about, because I think there are some young people out there who are going to really need this video, because a lot of things in life, you can bounce back from quite easily. You just kind of sort it out. But I think this is one thing where if you don't get on the right track with it, it's going to you need quite a lot of work to get it sorted. So basically, I'm just going to tell you a personal story of when I was about 17 and my thoughts about how that's affected my subconscious attitudes towards romance and dating and relationships. So I was about 17 when I first had any kind of romantic relationship. And it wasn't massively serious, and it wasn't massively official either. But it's your first relationship, that's a big deal at the time, no matter what. There was this girl, I was at sixth form at the time, and there was this girl in my French class who I met, and we used to got together. We were at some party, and you know how these things happen. And I ended up seeing her. That was the first time I really had a girlfriend of any sort. We're never very official, but I'm not 5 years old. Like, for all intents and purposes, I had that kind of relationship with her. And this was very interesting. So things went very well for the first month or so, and then it got to a point like maybe a month or so in, where I stopped trusting her. She was basically attracting the attention of a lot of other guys, and two in particular that she was actually very close friends with. And I got very suspicious about that whole scenario. I didn't really have much of a spine at that time, and I was very sort of blue-pilled, so I didn't really think I had any rights to express my feelings. But I did think, I was suspicious nonetheless about the relationship she was having with these two other guys. And as the relationship progressed, I just got more and more convinced that this wasn't going to work out, and maybe she was cheating on me, but either way, like, she wasn't really who I wanted her to be. And this is really upsetting to me. I remember just crying loads about it, just bursting into tears, listening to music, all while we were still going out, because of how awful it made me feel. I'm not doing this to garner sympathy, because every man goes through this kind of thing. But it's crucial for the story. So this went on, and eventually I made the decision to break it off with her. Now, that was quite a ballsy move, but I'm glad I did it. And I remember the conversation. I was having a walk home from school with her to catch my bus, and I said to her, look, this isn't going to work anymore. This is, we're breaking up. Goodbye. And that was that. Got on my bus, and the end, or so I thought. I went home that evening and I was feeling quite down about what had happened, and I remember lying on my sofa and I just played some music, and I kept waiting for the tears to come, because I wanted that sort of respite about the relationship, that sort of release through tears. I wanted that the tears to come, and they just didn't. Now, throughout the rest of school, I don't really have any other relationships. I have a few things here and there, but I'm never really find myself emotionally committed in quite the same way that I was then. And then forward winds into university. This is 2 years ago now, since this has happened. Maybe, yeah, two years ago. Long, ancient history in my mind. And it's an evening in first year university, we're all having some fun. And someone brings out a bag of weed. And we all roll it up and have a joint. And while I'm smoking, I start thinking a lot about I suddenly find myself thinking about this relationship I had in sixth form, and I start getting quite disturbed about just the whole thing in general. There's something quite disturbing to me. And so I excuse myself. I say I need some privacy, and I go away. I go away into my bedroom, and I just lay there with the lights off, thinking about this girl who's been out of my life for 2 years. Like, why am I thinking this? And I wake up the next day, and all I want to do is to write about this relationship that happened 2 years ago. This seemingly brief relationship that lasted 3 months, and I dumped her. Suddenly I find myself wanting to write about, and my friends are getting quite concerned at this point. They notice there's something up about me. But I'm like, no, I'm fine, guys, I just need to be alone for a bit. I just keep writing down all these thoughts I have about this girl. And then later on that evening, we're going out to a party, and I'm sitting alone in my room, and my housemate comes in, and we're chatting for a bit, and then I suddenly just burst out into tears, and I start telling her all this stuff about my ex from 2 years ago, and she doesn't quite know what I'm on about, but she had obviously, she's got quite a strong instinct for care. A lot of girls do, a strong caring instinct, and so she invites me on a walk, and we walk around the university campus, and I talk to her about my feelings, and that was that. Very strange incident. It's a series of events in my life, and stuff that I'm still really trying to make sense of. But I think there's something there that really, if I could fully understand what's going on in my head that made the story play out the way it has, I think a lot of my problems with dating and with relationships would completely evaporate. There's something weird going on in that relationship, and to be honest, I don't really have much more to tell you apart from this story. But I was watching a podcast today about attachment styles and how negative they can impact a relationship, and it just really got me thinking about all this stuff again. So that's probably all I have for a video today. But what I want to say is that you might be a young person who's gone through a breakup, and I think if you're anything like me, then there's a good chance that you might go through something similar in your life. You might deal with it in the same way that I've dealt with it, and it will have an impact on you for the rest of your life. Unless you either deal with it early, which is the best case scenario, or you have to deal with it later, which is what I'm doing now. I made a video about 3 months ago about what to do if you're in a breakup, and it was a bit of a shit video, really. I don't really recommend you go watch it, but it's basically like this sort of focus on why she ditched you and that kind of stuff, and just going back to, like kind of typical alpha male stuff, right? But just going back to my story today, I actually think it's not really what I would recommend. I mean, this is the thing, I don't have the answers for you guys because I'm still figuring it out myself. But the one thing I would say from my experience is be very wary about repressing emotion. Now, I'm not saying there aren't times when you need to put on a tough front for people who rely on you. There's a time and a place, right? And you need a certain amount of inner strength to not appear like a total pussy. However, you've got to put that emotion somewhere, because that emotion that I felt that was sort of, I think, is I've repressed over these years. I think that's gone into something unhealthy. And I think I'm at a point now in my life where I can't really open up to girls. I think I'm too caught up in my mind about the same thing happening again, that girls can sense that and it puts them off. And you might say like, oh, that's bullshit, come on, don't be ridiculous. But girls are very good at picking up these kind of traumas. And it's funny, like, I got in another relationship while I was at university, and the one thing that nothing like that ever happens with that other girl. She wasn't like this other girl that I was with, but I did always think, I was never that into her, and I did always think, well, I'm never gonna catch feet. I won't be upset if she cheats on me, basically. So yeah, this is the video basically. Just be careful about repressing your emotion. If you're still around, it might be worth subscribing, because I'm gonna do a lot of research on this stuff. Because I need to figure it out in my own life. I don't see a lot of information online that promotes this kind of thing. So if you are still watching, thank you very much, first of all. Mate, just give me a follow, and we'll be on this journey together. Because there's clearly something about my experience that relates to you. So, yeah, thank you for watching.